heavy is the armor you wear. When you think no one is watching, we often exhaust ourselves, trying to mold our soft, fluid spirits into shapes that do not fit, carrying stones of expectation that were never meant for our shoulders. It is a deep, quiet fatigue to be at war with your own nature. But here, under the canopy, you are free to lay that burden down. Welcome to the deep forest. Tonight, let us walk with the little fox, a creature of fire and swiftness, who learned that the only weight you must carry is the lightness of being yourself. Deep in the heart of the woods, where the roots of the great oaks twist and turn like sleeping dragons, lived a creature of copper and flame. He was a little fox, small and lithe, with paws designed for silence, and a tail that trailed behind him, like a plume of smoke. Nature had built him for swiftness. He was made to dance through the undergrowth, to dig into the soft, sandy banks by the river, and to curl up in tight, cozy spaces hidden by ferns. But the little fox did not look at his own paws with kindness. Instead, his eyes were fixed on the neighbor who lived beneath the hill, the badger. The badger was a creature of grey stone and solid muscle. He moved with a heavy, lumbering purpose. When the badger worked, the ground shook. He built his home not in the soft sand, but in the hard, clay-packed earth between the roots of the mightiest trees. He dragged great stones to fortify his entrance. His home was a fortress, a castle of earth that looked as if it could withstand any storm, any winter, any predator. The little fox watched from the shadows, his own ears flattening against his head. He looked at the badger's grand, imposing door, and then he looked at his own simple scratchings in the soft dirt. That, the little fox whispered to himself, is what a real home looks like. That is what safety looks like. If I want to be safe, if I want to be good, I must build like the badger. And so the trouble began. The next morning, the little fox ignored the soft, inviting bank of the river where the earth was yielding and warm. Instead, he marched to the rocky slope near the badger's hill. He set his sights on the heavy, grey stones, the kind the badger rolled with a single shove of his shoulder. The fox dug his small claws into the hard, unyielding clay. It was tough work. His paws were sensitive, meant for feeling the vibrations of the earth, not for breaking through rock. But he pushed on. He told himself that the pain in his paws was just a sign that he was doing it right. He told himself that if he just worked harder, if he just pushed more, he would become as solid as the badger. He found a stone, jagged and heavy, that he felt belonged at the entrance of his new fortress. He wrapped his front legs around it. He pushed with his back legs. The stone barely moved. It scraped against his chest, tangling his soft red fur. He grunted, his breath coming in sharp, ragged gasps. Move, he growled at the stone. But he was really growling at himself. Why are you so weak? Look at the badger. He would have moved this by now. He did not see that the badger had broad shoulders and short, thick claws made for this very task. He only saw his own failure. He only saw the gap between who he was and who he thought he should be. All day, the sun beat down on his copper coat. He grew thirsty. But he did not stop to drink at the stream. Badgers don't stop, he thought, though he had never actually asked the badger. He simply assumed that to be strong meant to be relentless. He assumed that his own need for rest, for water, for lightness, was a flaw. As the afternoon wore on, the little fox managed to drag 3 stones into a rough circle. But they didn't look like a fortress. They looked like a pile of rubble. They were uneven and wobbly. And because he had been so focused on the heavy stones, he hadn't dug a burrow behind them. There was no soft nest, no warm hole, just a facade of heavy rocks and a very tired, very small fox, shivering in the shadow of his own impossible expectations. Other animals passed by. A squirrel chattered from a branch, tilting its head. "Why do you build with stone, little fox? The sand is warm by the river." The fox felt a flash of shame, hot and prickling beneath his fur. "The sand is for kits," he snapped, repeating a rule he had invented only that morning. "Stone is for those who are strong." He continued to scrape against the rock, dulling his sharp claws. The very tools he needed to be a successful fox, his agility, his sensitivity, his sharpness, were being worn down by his attempt to be a badger. He was blunting his own magic to mimic someone else's method. Evening began to drape the forest in purple and grey. The air grew cool. The badger, finishing his day's work, lumbered past. He looked at the little fox, struggling to hold up a rock that was twice the size of his head. He did not look impressed, nor did he look critical. He just looked confused. He gave a low grunt and disappeared into his deep clay home. The little fox dropped the rock. It landed with a dull thud, crushing a patch of wildflowers he hadn't even noticed were there. He stood alone in the twilight. His paws were aching and raw. His muscles trembled with a fatigue that went deeper than his bones. It was the exhaustion of the spirit. He looked at his creation. It wasn't a home. It was a monument to struggle. It offered no shelter from the wind that was now picking up. It offered no comfort. He curled his tail around his nose, trying to find a warmth he hadn't built. He felt small. He did not feel small like a seed, curled safely in the warm earth waiting to rise. Instead, he felt a hollow kind of smallness, as if he were fading like morning mist against the cold grey rock, slowly becoming invisible. He had spent all his energy trying to be something he wasn't, that he had no energy left to be who he was. The forest was silent around him. The wind rustled the leaves, whispering an ancient truth that the fox was too tired to hear. He closed his eyes, his head resting on the cold, hard stone he had fought so hard to move. He was a creature of fire and swiftness, trapped in a cage of stone and stillness. He lay there, under the rising moon, waiting for sleep to take him away from the heavy burden of being wrong. We often find ourselves standing in that same twilight, shivering beside a fortress we felt we had to build, yet feeling no safer for it. We look at the heavy expectations we have dragged across the landscape of our minds, those stones of should, those boulders of must, and we wonder why we are so very tired. We wonder why the shelter we worked so hard to construct feels so cold and uninviting. But the forest, the ancient, breathing forest, does not judge the fox for not being a badger. And it does not judge you for being exactly who you are. The forest knows that a fox trying to carry stone will always be exhausted. It is not because the fox is weak. It is because the fox is trying to carry a weight that was never meant for its spirit. Now, let us leave the cold shadow of that stone pile. Let us step away from the work of becoming someone else. Let us turn toward the river, toward the soft sand, toward the rest that fits you. Shift your attention now, gently, to your physical self, to the body resting here in this moment. You might feel the echoes of the day's labor in your muscles. Like the little fox, you may have been pushing against resistance, trying to mold yourself into a shape that feels hard and unyielding. Bring your awareness to your shoulders. These are the places where we often carry our stones. We hike them up, bracing for a weight we think we must bear. We tighten them, preparing to push, to lift, to prove our strength. But here, in the safety of the deep forest, there is nothing to push against. There is no audience watching to see if you are strong enough. I invite you to visualize those heavy, grey stones. See the expectations of others, the comparisons to their lives, the demands of a world that moves like a badger. Imagine them resting on your shoulders. And now, on your next exhale, simply let them roll off. Feel the gravity take them, falling, falling, gone. They hit the soft earth floor. They are gone. Feel your shoulders drop down and down, away from your ears. Feel the space opening up in your neck, a lengthening, a softening. You are no longer the builder of the fortress. You are simply a creature at rest. Let that sensation of release flow down your arms, like warm water trickling over copper fur, down past the elbows, into the forearms, and into your hands. Your hand or your paws have been working hard. They have been grasping, holding on, trying to shape reality into something perfect. They may be tired from the friction of trying to be good enough. Allow your fingers to uncurl. Let them soften. Imagine the tension draining out of your fingertips, like fine sand. There is nothing you need to hold on to right now. The tools are down. The work is finished. You do not need to dig through hard clay here. You do not need to dull your sharpness against the rocks of self-criticism. Your hands can just be hands, resting, open, empty of burden. Now, bring your attention to your chest, the center of your breathing. When we are trying to be the badger, when we are trying to be solid and immovable, we often hold our breath. We create a rigid armor around our hearts, thinking it keeps us safe. But it only keeps us tired. Notice your breath now. Is it shallow? Is it trying to force its way in? See if you can invite a softness into your ribcage. Imagine your ribs are not bars of a cage, but flexible branches of a willow tree, expanding and contracting with the breeze. You do not need to force the air. The air wants to enter you. It is a gift from the forest. Inhale slowly, accepting the breath. Exhale fully, releasing the effort. With every breath out, imagine you are blowing away the dust of the day's struggle, the dust of comparison, the dust of not enough. It drifts away on the wind, leaving your lungs clear, leaving your heart light. You are returning to your own nature, not the heavy nature of stone, but the light, warm nature of the fox. Let us walk in our minds away from the rocky slope. We leave the jagged stones behind. We walk through the ferns, feeling them brush softly against our sides. We are moving toward the riverbank. Can you imagine the ground changing beneath you? It shifts from hard, packed dirt to something softer, something yielding. You have found a warm sand. This is the place that was made for you. Imagine finding a small, secluded hollow in this sand. It is shaped perfectly for your body. It is not a grand castle. It is a nest, a cradle of earth. As you lie down in this mental sanctuary, feel how the earth rises up to meet you. It does not ask you to change your shape. It conforms to you. It supports your back, your hips, your legs, sinking deeper into the sand. Feel the heavy muscles of your legs, the ones that wanted to run, the ones that wanted to work, finally going slack. They are heavy now, but it is a good heaviness. It is the heaviness of rest, not of burden. Let your feet relax. Let them turn outwards, completely loose. The journey is over. There is nowhere to run. There is no one to chase. The air here by the river is different. It is not the cold, thin air of the mountain top where the fortress stands. It is rich, humid, and soothing. Listen to the sound of the river flowing nearby. Water does not try to be stone. It flows around obstacles. It finds the path of least resistance. It is soft, yet it carves the canyon. Allow your mind to mimic the water. Thoughts may come. Thoughts of what you should have done today, or what you must do tomorrow. These thoughts are just stones in the riverbed. Do not try to pick them up. Do not try to move them. Just flow over them. You are the water. Cool, fluid, moving effortlessly toward the ocean of sleep. If a voice of criticism rises, a whisper that says you should be doing more, imagine that voice is just a dry leaf falling onto the surface of the river. Watch it float away. It spins in the current, smaller and smaller, until it disappears around the bend. You are enough, just as you are. You do not need to be harder. You do not need to be heavier. You do not need to be someone else to be worthy of rest. The forest accepts you. The sand holds you. The darkness protects you. Feel a gentle warmth spreading through your body now, starting from your center, radiating out to your extremities. It is the warmth of your own spirit, reclaiming its home. You are safe to let go of the mask. You are safe to let go of the armor. Your face. Soften the space between your eyebrows. Smooth out the forehead. Unclench the jaw. Let the tongue rest on the floor of the mouth. Even your ears let them relax, listening only to the silence and the gentle pulse of the night. You are drifting deeper into the burrow of the self, a place where there is no comparison. There is only being. The moon is high above the trees now, casting a silver glow on the river. The little fox is asleep in his sandy den, curled into a circle of rust and cream, breathing easily. He has forgotten the stones. He is dreaming of running through tall grass, light as a feather, swift as the wind. He is dreaming of being himself. And you are drifting with him, sinking past the layers of thought, sinking past the layers of worry, down into the deep, nourishing roots of the forest. Every breath takes you further down. Every exhale is a surrender. Safe, warm, whole. The river flows on, endless, steady. The leaves rustle, a lullaby of ancient trees. You are part of this rhythm. You are part of this piece. Drifting, floating, resting. Drifting deeper, deeper, safe in the heart of the forest. The stones are left behind. The sand is warm and soft. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Good night.